going on, everybody? Happy Big Wednesday / Happy Christmas. Let me just make myself a little bit more festive. Hold on. Get some snow going. There we go. Alright, I'm feeling a bit more festive now. Get off this disgusting game immediately. I haven't even booted it up yet. What are you guys talking about? Yeah, so like, there's been a bunch of people posting Street Fighter V clips lately. There's been like a little Street Fighter V mini revival. Tachikawa just did like a Street Fighter V Christmas Day tournament and it had like 500 entrants or something crazy like that. So seeing all these clips on my timeline of Street Fighter V stuff kind of got me a little bit. So I think today, it being Christmas Day, we're gonna visit the ghost of Christmas past, and I'm just gonna boot up Street Fighter V and talk about things that I think are cool. Look at that stupid Abigail in the background. See, like, man, yeah, this is suddenly making me think about Street Fighter 6. Seeing this game with like, you got a nice festive stage here, and I think as well, well, would you look at that? To everyone who constantly yells at me that the reason that they're not doing enough cosmetics for Street Fighter 6 is because the game's models are so high quality that it's way too difficult to develop them. Can I just show you guys this real quick? Look, all I'm saying is this is something that a modder put together for Aki in their own time, just for a fun mod made by one person. Come on, Capcom. Where should we start? I'm just gonna jump around some characters that I think are cool and talk about things that I think are cool about them. Let's start with Gil. It's funny because like people say, do you like Aki because of Fang in Street Fighter V? Because, you know, she's Fang's apprentice. But this character right here is the reason that I like Aki. This is the true inspiration for Aki's game plan in Street Fighter 6. It's this motherfucker. Because of that. The retribution system. It is God's will. Oh my god. Best super in the game. Best super in the game, and you will never convince me otherwise. The fact that they put like the silhouette over Gil during the super, so that he just turns into like you're blinded by the light and you just see like the seraphic outline. Absolutely godlike. V-trigger. This was the fakest V-trigger in the world. I always used to yell at people for getting hit by this thing because like every single time you would see a Gil player activate V-trigger and they would do like what was the sequence? Basically every single one of these mix-ups lost to backdash. Pretty cool. Oh my god, I forgot about this. You would get your ass beat if you picked this goddamn costume. This was banned in tournaments, but it was legal in ranked, and I hated every single person who picked it. This was the meme. We always used to make jokes about this, how like you claim Gil is a weak character, but did you know he has a 2-frame parry? Gil was one of the only characters in the game that could actually interrupt 3-frame gaps because he had this thing, which was like his only real strong tool, but unfortunately he was never very good in this game. Also, fun fact about Gil, which I just remembered, is he's the only character in the game who has a completely different stance depending on if he's on player 1 or player 2 side. So like on this side, his torso is facing towards the camera, and on this side, it's facing away, and that's because he's got like the blue and the red on each half, and if it just mirrored on each side, it wouldn't be consistent. There's a reason that generally Street Fighter characters are designed to be horizontally symmetrical down the middle. It's not such an issue now that everything's 3D models, but back when things were sprites, it was a problem. Like, the fun thing about that is that, did you guys notice that in Super Turbo, DJ has the word maximum down the side of his, trousers? Yeah. And the fun thing about that is that maximum is completely horizontally symmetrical. If you cut the letters of maximum down the middle, vertically, it's exactly the same in both directions. That was a clever little decision by the devs. Anyway, let's have a look at some other characters. Man, this Akuma design. What were they cooking? There's a lot of things I like about this game, but this fucking sunflower looking motherfucker, this is not it. I'm sorry. I don't know what they were going for here. This character, however, I cannot believe Manat did not get brought back already. I was certain Manat was going to be in Street Fighter 6, either launch roster or season 1. I think she also has a Christmas costume, right? Yeah, she does. This walk animation alone launched like 1,000 TikToks. You guys remember that fucking video? Take a sit, take a load off.
Take a sit, take a load off. Look at how she's walking. Look at, yes, I have a man, thank you.
I like Manat. I really like her. And mainly because her V-trigger is like the coolest, one of the coolest V-triggers in the game. This thing. Like outside of V-trigger, Manat's gameplay is kind of dry. She usually just like pokes you a lot with this thing and just like fishes for like her good orb normals in neutral. Lots of this stuff. But like once she activates V-trigger, controlling this thing is like a 10,000 IQ puzzle at high level. Because like every single one of these orbs corresponds to a button, one of the 6 buttons, and you can either hold and release them like that, or you can sort of like double tap like that. In peak performance, this is probably the single best V-trigger in the game. I actually think this was even better than Oro's Tengu Stone if used optimally. But this thing was so hard to use. If you were good at this character and you like every single orb felt like a V-trigger by itself, it made things that were normally punishable safe. It made her pressure insane. She had like horrible like jumping mix-ups where you could do shit like this. God damn, this V-trigger was good. No, so one of the reasons why I think this was better than Tengu is because Tengu will only trigger the projectiles if you actually do an attack. Offensively, Tengu was broken. Defensively, Tengu didn't really do anything for you. Whereas this thing was incredible offensively and defensively because what you could do is you could just hold buttons like this, like I'm doing now, and then just release them. And there's like no animation. It's effectively like an attack with no startup and no recovery. Manat could just hold down back, wait until she sees an opening in your pressure strings, and then just release the bottom orbs like that. And it was a completely like no risk, all reward defensive option. It was so cheap, but so hard to use that there still weren't that many people using Manat in this game. But I like this character a lot. If she comes back, I would definitely test Manat, because I kind of always thought that I should have been playing her. Let's jump around a bit more. Show Dan. You'll notice that quite a lot of the characters that people like in this game are the DLC characters, because the launch roster was a little bit dry. But yes, I was going to get to him eventually anyway. This is bar none the greatest Dan redesign of all time. Not just in terms of appearance, but also in terms of gameplay. The goddamn... The taunt cancel, this thing. I've lost the timing now. I used to know how to do this consistently. So Dan's whole gimmick in this game is that, like, his damage output is pretty bad, his stun output is pretty bad, but his one, like, broken thing is that he can cancel basically any normal into any other normal while building, I was gonna say drive gauge. V-trigger. So, like, this is Stand Fierce, and that's his taunt. If you go via the taunt, you can cancel it into itself. And this made his pressure absolutely insane. And then you could also, it got even more complicated because what you would do is you would taunt cancel into a jab like this to catch your opponent asleep and then steal a turn back afterwards. So you would do like something like that. And like a lot of this pressure is fake. Like there is gaps here, but like there's so many like quick reaction tests you've got to figure out here. Also, this is plus. He was really technical in this game. It was so cool. They turned a character that was like historically just a dumb joke character and made him like one of the highest IQ. Like he's also a rushdown character in this game, which is really cool. He's never really had a niche in any other game, but in this game, his like one thing that he's amazing at is his rushdown is absolutely insane. Also, the only character in the game with a 1-bar V-trigger. This thing. There was like a fun Easter egg on his taunt super where the longer you let the super play out, the more you gain like a damage multiplier against Dan. And if you hit him there, when he sparkles gold, your attack gets like a 10 times damage multiplier. Let me just show you against Dan what that looks like. Yeah, I will say having to go back to character select to switch characters is very annoying now that I'm used to Street Fighter 6 having hot switching. So yeah, if you just wait until like he gets to the end of the taunt when he turns gold. The second time, I think. He turns gold once here, and then the second time. And then you drop the SPD because you're bad at the game. There we go. I think that's it. There we go. Teabag taunt? Oh yeah, that was a thing too. Dan had a bunch of taunts that were like, had like hidden commands. So like, if you try and teabag with Dan, he has a special taunt for that. Which is that. It's so funny how like all the later DLC characters had so much love and care put into them. Like you can really tell compared to the launch characters who, like I said, were kind of they've definitely felt lacking. The final like 2 seasons of DLC characters had so many like fun Easter eggs in their kit. All right, let me teach you guys how to play SF5 Ed if you didn't experience this. Oh my god, look at his face. If you didn't experience this nightmare the first time round. All I'm doing right now is confirming that I have indeed got a light punch button on my pad. There we go. You are now qualified to play Ed. I definitely think Street Fighter 6 Ed is a huge improvement over this character. Did he just kick? Yeah, that was another thing, is that Ed only committed to the full boxer gimmick in 6. He actually was like a weird sort of all-rounder in this game with lots of kicks. I guess also the other thing to mention is that Ed is the genesis of modern controls, yeah. This game didn't have modern controls as a control scheme, but like Ed was basically a modern character because like his DP is just 2 buttons. Like you don't need any reactions here because it's just 1 button. This is the original modern character. Hey, remember this clown? The noodles for hair? I've softened, my opinion of Luke has definitely softened over time, but in this game he was an absolute criminal. I'm talking about things that I love today, but one of the things that I definitely did not love was this goddamn V-trigger. This was the only V-trigger in the entire game that naturally regenerated over time. Like, I guess this was meant to be like a prototype for the drive system, but if you look, after firing this thing, his V-trigger is actually slowly restoring, which no other V-trigger in the game does. So this means that, like, unlike every other character in the game, other than, I guess, Nikali, usually when the opponent is in V-trigger, they're kind of incentivized to go in because they're on a timer. But Luke could just activate V-trigger and just chill. He had no pressure to, like, initiate. And if anything, he could actually play Runaway because this goddamn fireball was so quick. Like, you would just be, like, very slowly walking towards Luke in neutral. Like, and like walk, block, walk, block, walk, block, and then just like as a jump scare, you would just get hit by a bam. His V-skill 2 was the suppressor, right? It was, but it was much more interesting in this game. I'd say that his suppressor actually got kind of lame in 6. He had a really interesting V-skill 2, which was this thing. They turned this into a command normal. I think it's like back heavy punch or something in 6. But in this game, it was his V-skill 2, and this move was completely unique because this was the only move in the game that was a counter against throws. Like, it specifically, like, counters throws. There's a special animation for it. Which is that. And you even get combos off it. Yeah, this character was hilariously overpowered when he first came out, and then they toned him down a little bit, and he went from being the best character in the game to the best character in the game. But at least he was more balanced at the end, but he was still definitely top 1. Pick Laura? No. I have nothing positive to say about this character. Other than, I'm glad V-Shift was added to the game. That's my official Laura summary. Thank fucking god they added V-Shift. Karin's kind of funny, I think, because she's the only example I've ever seen in fighting game history of a character who jumped up like 900% stronger when they fixed input lag. Like, all that happened is that Capcom reduced the input lag in this game, and everyone suddenly realized, wait a second, this thing is single hit confirmable, and it's the best crouch medium kick in the game, or it used to be. They nerfed it quite a lot in the later seasons, now it has like noticeable recovery. This thing used to be like unwhiff punishable. And there was a period from like season 2 all the way through to like season 4, I think, where just single hit confirming this into Tenko, like that, was basically enough to make this character like S tier. I mean, it's been like, I don't know, 8 years since this game came out, and I'll still never get used to Ken's face and hair in this game. Especially because it got even worse with his alt costumes. Which one's the... That's the one. Oh my god. That's the truly disgusting one. That one's not too bad. That's the best one of all because I can't see his face. Any SF5 players want to briefly have their muscle memory reactivated? Don't worry, I'll do it for you right now. Ready? There you go. That should have activated some kind of primal memory in your brain. You should have reflexively pressed up there. In honor of Fang being the person responsible for bringing Aki into the world, I have to pay my respects. I do think Fang had some fun stuff though. Like, this character definitely rewarded like time investment. So like, here's a thing that only Fang players really had to do that no other character had to like take advantage of. So Fang's stand jab is +5 on hit, and his stand fierce, I don't think it shows it there. His stand fierce I think is like 6 or 7 frame startup. So stand jab to stand fierce, this is not a link. But he has lots of combos where you can force the stand jab to hit on the second active frame, so it's like a mid-combo meaty. So that's why this works. So it looks like a normal BMB, but like a lot of Fang stuff was actually really technical and about like intentionally forcing stand jab to hit like that. Oh yeah, and this thing. Cow crouch roll in this game is absolutely Aki's on steroids. This was plus on block, by the way. This was plus as well. And also, maybe counterintuitively, one of the most obnoxious anti-airs in the game. This crouch medium kick. It doesn't really look like an anti-air, but that first frame where like the leg comes over his head is actually an amazing anti-air. Like that. This is actually an anti-air. There we go. You can combo after his critical up. I think the Fang community did a great job of keeping this quiet, but Fang still has a throw loop to this day, even in the final version of this game. I think Fang is the only character that has one outside of V-Trigger. So this, even in like Season 5, you do have to micro walk. It's kind of a manual micro walk. This is an actual throw loop. Urian? I guess we'll do Urian. Urian's cool, man. I like Urian a lot. I think it's funny that Urian has a Gil costume in this game, and then they just went ahead and added Gil anyway. Epic win. I take the throw. I activate Aegis. Is that the meme? Yes, that's true. Urian did get giga nerfed towards the end. He was very, very strong across a lot of seasons. And then Capcom said, hey, you guys like waking up with EX headbutt so much, why don't you try living without it? And every single Urian player disappeared. This thing used to be an invincible reversal, now it's just not. It's just a combo tool. And he immediately plummeted like fucking straight to low tier. Man. Cody's an interesting character because like when he first launched, he was very meh and like pretty underwhelming, and like every single balance patch in this game, he consistently got buffs, and then by the final season, by the end of this game's life, he was like potentially top 5. He was really fucking good. And a lot of it comes down to this move right here. That thing. His EX Zonk had 2 levels. Both were really good. But the level 2 EX Zonk, if I remember right, was +5 on block, I think. Yeah, that was +5 on block. And on hit, as you saw, you get a full wall bounce off it as well. There we go. Saved a state because it's been too long, but 465 damage for 1 bar of EX in this game, like nearly 50%, was ludicrously high. What was supposed to be the downside of Zonk was the fact that you lost access to buttons, right? This is a button hold move. So to do EX Zonk, you have to hold down 2 punch buttons. And I think the idea from Capcom was that like the downside of how good this move is that you lose access to like 2 punch normals while you're charging it. But the thing was, you could switch. Like top level Cody players, what you could do is if you pressed a 3rd punch and then released one of the previous punches, you could switch around which 2 buttons you were holding. So I was holding light and medium a second ago. Now I'm holding light and heavy and I have access to medium punch, but I still have the EX Zonk stock. So like, VX Bow, I remember I was actually at the last Capcom Cup. VX Bow had like this insane layout on his hitbox with like 100 extra buttons. And he constantly, at every single point in the match, VX Bow always had access to EX Zonk, and it never looked like he lost the normal. Like, he would be pressing like medium punch in neutral, and you would be like, oh, okay, I guess he's charging with light and heavy. And then this would happen, he would do a jab, and then you would be like, wait, how does he have access to jab? And then you would get hit by this. Like, top level Cody players would constantly cycle through which two normals they were charging with, and it made it impossible to figure out like when he was and wasn't charging Zonk. This is one of the best moves in the game. It's a dodge, a high and a low dodge, and then it has like certain follow-ups. There are, you know how earlier we were talking about how like Gil could avoid certain things in this game using his 2-frame parry V skill? This was basically that on crack. I would say this was the better defensive V skill. The amount of strings that you could just dodge through and punish with this thing was crazy, and also this is special cancelable. So you could dodge something, go into the punch, and then special cancel it. So here's like a, yeah, this is like a basic example. Like the most default string in Street Fighter history. Ryu doing low forward fireball. Cody can just sway through this. Which is really, really fucking strong. Yeah, you can go into super. This button, by the way, this stand medium kick was like one of the best pokes in the game. But yeah, V-trigger. This thing was really good. The pipe. And there's like a mini game to this. If you guys don't know, his pipe swing has like a just frame where if you throw the rock up and do it too early, he like bats it up in the air, and if you do it too late, it like skids along the floor like that. But if you hit it just right, it's like a 3-hit projectile. And it's the same on the command grab as well. And if you press it too early, you just get that. But it has a just frame as well, which I've forgotten how to do. Been a while. There we go. Special animation on that. And the cool thing was, you could even cancel out of the just frame back into the rock throw for Oki. So you could do that. Yeah, that was it. Oh my god. Nasty Oki. Holy shit. By the final season, both of his V-triggers were kind of cracked. This thing was really good as well. This button was insane. This thing right here, +7 on hit, by the way. Alright, Seth. So, Seth ruined this game on release because this move was completely overpowered. Hilariously overpowered. The axe kick. If you guys want to see like how broken this move used to be, go and watch Street Fighter League from the season right after Seth came out. I want to say it was like 2021? Might have been 2020, I forget. But like literally every single person at SFL had like a pocket Seth, and they were just spamming this thing 24/7 because it would beat anti-airs, it would like counter hit normals, and if you landed a hit with this, you used to consistently get a link into like stand medium punch. They nerfed this thing a lot. Yeah, this used to be a combo. You used to be able to do this, but you can't anymore. But the good news is that after they made Seth not brain dead, Seth actually became like a really fucking cool character, and a lot of it comes down to this V-skill. Seth's V-skill 1 steals a move from every single character in the game, and the move that you steal is different every time. So for example with Manat, you steal the orb toss, and you can also recall it as well. So you can throw it, and you can bring it back, and you have to do it, like load it every time. And it's so sick because it has so many unique interactions with so many characters. Like the amount of like matchup knowledge you needed to play Seth well with this V skill was insane. Manat's a good example because hers was like the most combo friendly. This was a really fun character to just like screw around with in training mode though. I had a lot of fun learning like character specific V skill combos with Seth. There we go. That's about the best I can remember for now. There's probably a way you can do a fancy stun combo off this, but yeah, Seth has some really fun combos in this game. I guess I'll show one more Seth absorb that I thought was cool. So, the Seth mirror match actually had a really fun one. Brutal impact. And this punch is actually really good. Because like in the mirror, this is an interesting mirror match. This is one of the few times I actually used to enjoy playing a mirror match. Because one of Seth's most common strings to buffer is like this. So like Seths often do crouch medium kick into light spin kick because it's pretty safe. Like, it's like -8 or something like that. And what was cool was that if you had the V skill stocked, you could do that as a punish on Seth's own buffer. So there was actually quite a lot of depth to this mirror match. And you could also do stuff like that. This V trigger, this thing basically has like an infinite skill ceiling. And you can set up some absolutely diabolical mix-ups with this thing. So like, for example, right there. If I do something like that, you're in block stun the entire time. And if I do that, it's a low. And if I do that, it's an overhead. And this game does not have parry to protect you. And the other thing is you can't even fuzzy block this thing. Because this low and this overhead have the exact same startup. Both of Seth's V triggers are really cool, but I think the V trigger 2 is definitely the really cool one. If I remember rightly, you could also do like an insane amount of chip damage with this thing. I can't remember the exact sequence, but you could do some crazy stuff. Yeah, a lot of people were disappointed, I think, in the transition from Street Fighter 4 Seth to Street Fighter 5 Seth. And I guess the word transition there is serving multiple purposes. I think Street Fighter 5 Seth is way cooler, personally. I guess before we end up with where we started, let's just do Dalsim as well, since people are gonna ask. This was my guy for a while. This was even my costume color. I used to get very protective and get angry at people using this specific costume color. Oh man, I can't even do. There we go. I can't even do Tiger Knee teleport anymore. He used to have execution. Where's it gone? This character. He feels so much nicer to use in this game. It's hard for me to explain if you didn't play SF5 Dalsim, but he's so much more fluid to control in this game than he is in Street Fighter 6. Like, he just feels so sluggish in Street Fighter 6, and he's like giga high speed in this game. And also this exists. This move right here, I can still do it. Tiger Knee Gale. This move is one of the most powerful moves in the entire game. This got cut from Street Fighter 6, probably for good reasons. This is Gale. This is +2 on block, for some reason. +2. Completely avoids lows. Completely avoids throws. You can do it on Wake Up, and it will beat both throw and shimmy. You can do it in corner pressure. If you do it as a meaty, it's like +18 billion. What was the stupid one? It was like, there was one, it was this, wasn't it? Hang on. That one, +28. Oh my god. We used to make jokes about like Zona, by the way, because his rushdown was so goddamn good. The other thing I really like about Dalsim in this game is he has some really cool combos. So you can do like the slide loop, which I probably lost the execution for. Yeah, this thing's hard. There's like a trick to this combo where you have to intentionally leave the analog stick or, you know, your arcade stick in neutral. There we go. Old habits never die. I used to just do drills in training mode where I would just try and loop this for as long as possible with infinite meter. Just because it's so fun to land. I don't know, man. What else is there to say? This character was fun, but I just lost interest towards the end, but he was still really cool. Dalsim's V-Trigger 2 was like the ultimate test of like, can you consistently do Tiger Knee Gale? Because you had to like basketball dribble this thing to make it good. This was like a huge part of his pressure. You could keep juggling this thing for as long as you wanted to. And you had to continuously use Gale to do it. It was hard to control. This was like a hard to use V-Trigger. but it had a lot of depth if you could use it well. You could like do lots of stuff where you like hit it from the other side and send it back at the opponent. Also, I guess last thing I just remembered, Dowsing had a fun thing in this game where you could like stay at the top of the screen for very long periods of time by doing like this. Again, this is not in Street Fighter 6, but as long as you had EX meter in this game, Dowsing could just stay up there for as long as he wants to. Now, this is fun. It's nice to have a bit of a reminiscing session, because like, I haven't really touched this game at all since Street Fighter 6 came out, so I'm enjoying reminiscing. And speaking of which, I guess we have to end with this guy right here. Who else? This character. I don't know how to start with this guy. This is the character that reinvigorated my love for this game. And I've already forgotten so much. God, he's cool. There we go. That's more like it. The classic. You could do that off most DPs as well. Classic 80% combo. And you run down the RNG on Tengu stones. I mean, you can summon 3 or 5 stones, and there's a chance that 1 or more of them will be replaced with like special items. So for example, the dinosaur here, that's a special item, and when that dinosaur hits, it very slightly refills the V-trigger gauge. So if you pay close attention, you probably can't even see it with just 1, but there's like a tiny amount of restoration you get on that one. And there's also the beach ball that gives you more super meter. There's the Blanca-chan, which gives you, if I remember rightly, that one's increased stun and increased meter gain, I think. That's one of the rare ones. And there's also the book, which is just increased stun. And there's one more I'm forgetting about. Oh, the games console. That one. Yeah, there it is. Good timing. The games console is just a flat damage increase. You want as many of those as possible. Didn't one of the special stones also deal less damage? Yes, the book is the worst one. Pretty much, the thing about Tengu Stone RNG was that all of them were useful to some extent, but the book was the only one that sometimes you didn't want to see. Because the book actually decreases damage in exchange for more stun, and quite a lot of the time, you don't want that with Oro. Like, he hits so hard, you just want the damage, you don't want the stun. God damn. Yeah, the combo is RNG dependent, so like right there, that did 825 with the same combo. Because I got better item RNG there. But it's not just Tengu, like Oro had some really fucking cool stuff. Let me see if I can still do the jump cancel stuff. It might not look like much. Okay, there we go. I'm starting to get it again. It might not look like much, but doing looping stand medium kick into EX Fireball is one of the most complicated execution checks in this game. I think if you go back and search Brian F's channel, he probably made like 15 different videos explaining how this works. But it's a very complicated... I can't explain the whole thing right now. But basically, EX Fireball is a charge move, and Oro has a command normal on back medium kick. So to do stand medium kick into EX Fireball and then have charge for the next one requires a bunch of very complicated charging techniques. Involving charging with up back, which is very weird. Let me turn on input so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm actually charging with up back here. There we go. I'm getting back in the swing of things. Maybe the old man isn't washed just yet. But yeah, this took me so long to learn. What was the corner loop? It was like a 3-stone loop. It was this. Man, that's crazy. I was thinking, when you asked that question, I was thinking I have no idea what the combo is anymore. But then I just started doing it and like muscle memory took over and it just... Like, I couldn't have even told you what combo I was doing there. That was all just muscle memory. Yeah, that's the loop. It's really funny how like I said, I haven't practiced that combo since Street Fighter 6 came out basically, and I was scared that I would not remember any of it. But it's funny how like your muscle memory just like takes over. I probably couldn't even notate that combo for you. It's just all muscle memory at this point. 20th century combo? That's a callback. I forgot about that. Yeah, hey, you guys, if you listen to the hits of this combo, it hits the exact same rhythm as the 20th Century Fox like theme tune. You know, it's like dun 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 dun, like before it starts the 20th Century Fox thing. That's like an old YouTube video of mine. Damn, I forgot about that. That's the 20th Century Fox combo. Oh man, this is kind of getting to me a little bit. I'm feeling pretty nostalgic right now. Is the Street Fighter 5 revival happening? Let me see if I can still do this stupid combo. Is this it? This was it. Dumbest combo in the game. I used to do this just because it was funny, not because it was worth doing. But I think, let me just finish by, when we're talking about Tengu, one of my favorite things about this goddamn V-Trigger is I don't think in Street Fighter history there has ever been an anti-air better than Oro activating Tengu stones in this game. Once you have Tengu stocked, if your opponent does a bad jump at you, I think this was the most consistent, but even still, like, I don't think that was the optimal combo, but even with that being suboptimal, like, being able to do 65% damage off an anti-air, I absolutely love this. This was probably my favorite usage of Tengu. I love making my opponent question all of their life decisions because they decided to jump at me. Alright, I got lost in the sauce there a little bit with the Oro combos, but I'm gonna be, yeah, like I'm gonna be honest, this, I was gonna just like mess around with some combos today, but I'm actually kind of surprised by like how much I think I took this game for granted. I know a lot of people hate Street Fighter 5, and that's, you know, you're entitled to your own opinions, but I will say this much. If you abandoned this game early on because it was an absolute shit show in Season 1, I don't blame you, but like, you missed out on some good stuff towards the end. This game was a really fucking good fighting game, and one of my favorites. Anyway, we're gonna leave it there. Hope you guys all enjoyed this little trip down memory lane, and I will see you guys all in the next video.